Hello again, I am Blunty. Today's subject is lighting, and it's a subject I've touched on before, but it is impossible for me to impress upon you just how important it is to get your lighting right in your videos, to make them look the best they can look. And it doesn't matter what your camera is, or how much you paid for your camera, or what its capabilities are. Every camera out there will do better when lit correctly. Well, when the subject is lit correctly, I should say. Doesn't matter what the camera is lit with. And by way of demonstration of that exact fact, here we are on the built-in webcam on my MacBook Air. Not a very good camera. This is regular, everyday, normal living room lighting conditions. You know, you sit in your living room, this is what you look at. Basically, I've got the light on the ceiling there shining down on me like, I don't know, 60 or 80 watts of illumination straight down. There's a window opposite me over there with a little natural indirect sunlight coming through, and I look around and the room looks perfectly well lit, but obviously the camera disagrees. And this is that exact same camera. I'm sitting in exactly the same spot in exactly the same room, but with a proper lighting setup. I've got one of the lights over there, main illumination, one of the ones over there for a little bit of fill, and one of the ones above my head to separate me from the background. It's a classic 3-point lighting setup. And I'll grant you, it still doesn't look fantastic. This still isn't a particularly brilliant camera, but it looks a ton better than what we started with. And a resourceful indie filmmaker or indeed amateur YouTuber can press into service all manner of lighting sources to just get the job done, and there are billions of videos out there describing, all kinds of lovely light hacks and bits and pieces you can use from hardware stores to get the job done. But there are issues you will run into with pretty much all of these sort of low-budget MacGyver solutions, and they are the way the light spreads, and in particular, the color temperature of the light. There is no doubt about it, proper video lighting, designed for video lighting, is going to make your life much easier. So once you've done the experimenting and fiddling around with the super budget crap from hardware stores, and you know that video is something you want to keep doing, it's time to invest in a decent set of video lights, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. These guys, which I've recently discovered, they're recently new on the market from METZ. If you're not familiar with METZ, they are a German brand, most well known for their high-end TVs, but they also do a whole lot of photography lighting stuff, on-camera flashes in particular, and huge, big, like professional level studio strobe kits and lighting setups and things like that. And these are the first LED video lights they've come out with. As I said, they're from METZ, and they are called the mecalight range. LED video lights designed to be reliable, high quality and affordable options for, well, people just like me actually, the low budget pros and amateurs out there looking to add some extra polish, and the ambitious, up and coming indie filmmakers and those type of people. Basically the kind of people who want good gear without spending a fortune. So that's their pitch. The only real question you guys need an answer to is, are they any good? Well, I've been using these units pretty much every day for various tests and projects and all my regular production videos here, of course, for about a month now. And the answer is yes, they are good. Very good, in fact. Good enough for me to have made the decision already to add these to my own workflow and replace the lights I currently use. They come in 3 flavours. The Mecalight LED 430 is the big fella, the LED 320 and the LED 160 at the little end. Their model numbers directly indicating their lux illuminance measurements. And for those new to lighting jargon, lux is simply an international standard unit of measurement of illumination. Bigger number, brighter light. Nice and simple, right? And the Mecalight naming system is actually much more useful than what other brands label their lights, which is usually simply how many LEDs are in it or something like that, which can actually be very misleading as not all LEDs are created equal. Now there are several pieces of good news about these lights. The first is that they come with a nifty magnetic filter attachment system, and are supplied with both a diffuser for softening up the light a bit, very nice for portraits, and a 3200K colour balance filter to enable you to use it in mixed tungsten lighting situations nice and easy. Or simply if you want to warm up the colour temperature a bit, of course. And because these attach magnetically, it's actually very simple to use lighting gels or even simply some coloured cellophane to change the colour completely just by sandwiching it between the diffuser and the magnetic attachments. The default colour temperature is 5600K, otherwise known as daylight temperature, so using it in combination with natural light is no issue at all. Each has a beam angle of about 65 degrees, providing a pleasant spread and without causing a nasty hot spot when using it close up or with wide angle lenses. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. I'll directly compare the smallest of the mecalights with the smallest of Manfrotto's video lights. As you can see, the Manfrotto has a very nasty hot spot right in the middle, whereas the mecalight has a nice, soft, even spread. It's really a no-brainer which one's going to be more useful. All three sizes of the mecalights have brass 1/4-20-inch tripod mounts on the long and short side, so you can mount them whichever way around you need to. They also come with this little multi-angle thingy, which has its own 1/4-20 mount at the bottom and a cold shoe mount for popping it directly onto a camera. Power is another one of my favourite things. They run standard and easy to get AAA or AA batteries depending on the model, but the 430 and 320 also have a DC input jack, and you can pipe in anything from 4.8 volts to 9 volts and it'll work just fine, which is nice and flexible. And no weirdo proprietary jack either, just a nice standard and importantly very, very common DC input socket that's been around forever, so you're never really going to have much of an issue finding a way to run these things off mains power. But when you're not on mains, battery life falls within what I found to be pretty normal expectations of lights of these kinds of sizes and kinds powered by standard batteries. In this burn down test I ran all three at 100% brightness with decent alkaline batteries. The smallest one, which runs off a pair of AAAs, will run for about 25 minutes before slowly fading down. The middle child, running on 4 AAAs, will, likely thanks to the nature of the dimming circuitry, actually start to blink after about half an hour. Reducing the brightness will allow it to burn consistently for a bit more time before it starts blinking again. This blinking behaviour is a bit odd and quite annoying when in use, actually. The largest one, however, doesn't display this odd blinking behaviour, and its 4 AAs will give it a burn time of an hour, although it does seem to dim very slightly after about 30 or 40 minutes. The 2 bigger ones can also be dimmed all the way from 0 through to 100 fairly smoothly. Very handy to have. The smaller sibling doesn't dim, but it does have a neat trick of its own. It can serve as a connecting point for the larger ones. Either one of each, or a matched pair, can be locked securely into place on either side, and better yet, the dimming settings are transferred across this connection, allowing one unit to control both dimmable lights simultaneously. That's nifty. Now the light these things throw out is pleasantly consistent and spreads nicely, as we saw before. And by way of a nice visual comparison about how bright each of these are, here are 3 shots, each with the camera in the exact same settings in manual mode, so the only change is how much illumination each light produces. And further to that, I've also tested the mecalights up against some other lights I've got. Everything from a few varieties of the cheap and nasty Chinese-made LED panels, all the way through to a popular mini Manfrotto video light, as we saw before, and a common generic video light that I've been using for quite some time and found to be pretty good. And as you can see, aside from the simple matter of how bright they are, there's also the issue of light consistency, both in spread and importantly in colour balance. As we talked about before, colour balance can be really important when you're doing video, and the mecalights are, in my view, clearly superior in every important way. In general, I found the build quality to be very nice. They are lightweight without feeling flimsy, and the dimmers feel smooth and responsive with a nice positive click action for the off position. The magnetic filters were simple and easy to use and held quite secure through bumps and shakes. So given all of this good news, and at the time of the review the fact that the Aussie pricing starts at just under $70 and tops out at less than $140, I'd happily call them extremely good value for high quality, proper colour temperature calibrated video lights with a nice smooth output and a few handy bells and whistles to make life just a bit easier on the side. Alright then, now as I said in the beginning, while these were merely test units for me to try out and test and review and everything, I am without a doubt going to add at least a couple of these to my personal production kit, because they are easily, undoubtedly, the biggest bang for buck lighting solution that I've ever come across. They are just brilliant. Lovely quality of light that spreads really nicely. They're reliable and well built. YouTuber's best friend as far as I'm concerned, and if you are in the market out there for a video lighting solution, a proper video lighting solution that will make your life a little bit easier and add sort of a little extra level of polish to your productions, then absolutely I encourage you to check out the METZ mecalight collection. They may indeed be exactly what you were looking for, as they were for me. I've been waiting for these to come along for a while. I just never knew it until they appeared, so check them out. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.